After a true collapse, the roads don't clear, they choke. An EMP, a grid failure, a sudden chain reaction that turns highways into parking lots that never move again. Engines die where they stand, traffic locks in place, and within hours the world fills with silent rows of abandoned vehicles, stretching farther than you can see. Thousands of them, sometimes tens of thousands. Doors left open, windows cracked, belongings still inside. Their owners long gone, walking towards somewhere they believed would be safer. Most of them never reached it. And every person who passes those vehicles makes the same mistake. They check the glove box for a weapon. They check the trunk for food or water. If they're smart, they siphon whatever fuel remains, and then they move on, believing the car has nothing left to offer. They see a dead machine. What they fail to see is what's actually in front of them. Because a vehicle was never just transportation. It's 2 tons of engineered survival material, hardened steel, reinforced fabrics, stored electrical energy, precision wiring, insulation designed to protect human life in hostile conditions. Every abandoned car is a supply cache hiding in plain sight. And while everyone else walks past them, the people who understand what they're really looking at quietly gain an advantage that compounds with every mile. Here's what most people don't realize. The real value isn't hidden in the glove box or buried in the trunk. It's built into the structure itself. And the first thing you take isn't fuel or food or anything that runs out. It's the seat belts. Because in a collapsed world, cordage becomes one of the most valuable assets you can carry. And nothing you'll find in stores, packs, or abandoned supply caches comes close to the strength of what's already bolted inside every vehicle. Each seatbelt contains several feet of tightly woven polyester webbing engineered to hold a human body in place during violent impact. That means the strap in your hands can withstand thousands of pounds of force without failing. To put that into perspective, it's exponentially stronger than the paracord people once trusted with their lives. Cut it close to the anchor point and you recover maximum length. Now you have material capable of securing shelters, stabilizing injuries, binding gear, reinforcing loads, or creating harness systems that distribute weight across your body without cutting into flesh. One vehicle gives you dozens of feet of high-strength cordage. And unlike everything else, nobody else is taking it. The next resource is even more valuable because it gives you something most survivors lose within days. Tools. Every adjustable headrest is supported by 2 solid steel rods locked into the seat frame and forgotten by everyone who walks past. Release the latch, pull upward, and they slide free instantly. What you're left holding are hardened metal shafts designed to resist bending, snapping, or failing under constant stress. In a world where manufactured tools stop existing, raw steel becomes power. Sharpen one end against pavement, and you have a puncturing instrument capable of driving through dense material. Lash it to a branch using the seatbelt webbing you already recovered, and it becomes a functional spear with real penetrating force. Bend it carefully, and it transforms into a hook capable of retrieving objects from dangerous or inaccessible spaces. More importantly, these rods allow you to build. They anchor shelter frames, reinforce structural joints, secure materials that would otherwise fail under tension. They give you mechanical advantage in a world stripped of precision equipment. Every vehicle gives you multiple steel blanks. And unlike weapons, fuel, or food, nobody else recognizes their value until it's already too late. Number 3 is the side mirrors. Most people ignore them completely because they don't look like survival equipment. But what you're actually looking at is precision-made reflective glass, engineered to withstand years of environmental abuse without losing its clarity or strength. In a collapsed world, that makes it invaluable. Angle the mirror toward direct sunlight, and you gain the ability to concentrate light onto a fixed point. With the right positioning, that focused reflection produces enough heat to ignite dry tinder. No fuel, no matches, no lighter. Just sunlight, which remains one of the few energy sources that cannot be taken from you. But fire is only the beginning. The third item on this list also gives you reach. Reflected light travels miles, allowing you to signal distant allies or draw attention without moving from your position. More importantly, it allows you to observe without exposing yourself. Held around corners or elevated above cover, a mirror reveals threats while keeping your body hidden. It weighs almost nothing, but the information it gives you can determine whether you walk forward safely or never walk forward again. Number 4. Most survivors walk past portable power because they don't recognize it when they see it. A car battery doesn't look valuable. It's heavy, dirty, bolted in place like part of a machine that no longer matters. But what's sitting in front of you is stored energy, and in a powerless world, energy becomes control. Even after weeks of abandonment, most batteries retain enough charge to remain useful. With nothing more than a thin piece of metal or exposed wire, you can bridge the terminals and generate instant heat. That heat can ignite dry material immediately, giving you fire without relying on fragile tools or limited supplies. But its value doesn't stop there. Stored electricity extends your reach beyond daylight. It powers light when darkness takes over. It keeps communication devices alive when isolation becomes dangerous. It allows you to operate with awareness while everyone else is blind. And once you stop thinking of it as a vehicle component and start seeing it as an independent power source, you realize what it truly is. Not weight, not inconvenience, capability. Because in a silent world, the person who controls energy controls their odds of survival. Number 5. Water will always exist. Safe water won't. And the difference between the two often determines how long someone lasts. Most people don't die because water disappears. They die because the water they find destroys them slowly from the inside. Every vehicle contains a filtration layer designed to trap microscopic debris before it enters the cabin air. That same layered material becomes your first line of defense when dealing with contaminated water. Pull it free, position it over a container, and pour your collected water through it. What emerges on the other side is clearer, cleaner, and far safer to process further. It doesn't eliminate invisible threats. It prepares the water so those threats can be destroyed effectively. Sediment is removed, organic debris is trapped. The material strips away the visible contamination that interferes with purification and makes water usable instead of repulsive. And that matters more than people realize, because dehydration doesn't always come from absence. It comes from hesitation. And once you understand that even the air filtration system of a dead vehicle can protect your internal systems, you stop seeing abandoned machines. You start seeing survival infrastructure. Number 6. Every vehicle contains something most people never see, but once you understand its value, it becomes one of the most useful materials you can carry. Hidden beneath panels, behind dashboards, and running through the engine compartment is an entire network of copper wiring designed to distribute energy throughout the machine. That same network becomes raw survival infrastructure once the machine stops working. Copper wire doesn't rot, it doesn't weaken in wet conditions. It doesn't lose its strength over time the way organic cordage does. Thin strands can be shaped into snares capable of securing small game without constant supervision. Thicker bundles become structural bindings, allowing you to secure shelter frames or reinforce load-bearing joints with material that will not fail under tension. It also gives you awareness. Properly placed lines can act as perimeter alerts, warning you when something approaches your position without requiring visibility. And if you've already recovered stored power, copper becomes the pathway that allows you to use it. What looks like scrap becomes connection, and connection becomes control in a world where control determines survival. Number 7. Most people focus on weapons, water, and fire, but they ignore the one threat that drains them faster than anything else. Cold. Not dramatic, not immediate, but constant. It seeps upward through the ground while you sleep, pulling heat from your body until your strength disappears without warning. Every vehicle is filled with insulation designed to resist that exact process. Floor mats create a barrier between you and the earth, blocking moisture and slowing heat transfer. That simple separation preserves body temperature through the night, allowing recovery instead of decline. Beneath the visible surfaces, the interior lining contains layered materials engineered to regulate temperature and absorb environmental extremes. Once removed, those same materials become protection. Wrapped around your body, they retain warmth. Laid beneath you, they stabilize your resting position. Hung around your shelter, they prevent heat from escaping into open air. What once protected passengers now protects you. And while others rely on open fires that expose their location, you remain concealed, insulated, and stable. Because true survival isn't loud, it's controlled, invisible, and sustained long after everyone else begins to fail. Now step back and understand what this really means. Everything you've seen so far came from a single abandoned vehicle, not a warehouse, not a supply drop. Just one machine left behind by someone who no longer needed it. From that one source, you gained high-strength cordage capable of securing shelter and stabilizing injury. You gained hardened steel capable of becoming tools and weapons. You gained reflective glass that extends your awareness beyond your line of sight. You gained stored energy that gives you fire, light, and operational capability long after darkness takes everything else away. You gained filtration that protects your body from what you can't see. You gained copper wiring that allows you to build, secure, and defend your position. You gained insulation that preserves your heat without exposing your presence. That is from one car. Now multiply that by every silent vehicle lining every road, every parking lot, every forgotten stretch of asphalt. The difference between those who survive and those who don't won't be strength. It won't be speed. It will be perception. Because while others see wreckage, you now see infrastructure. And once you learn to see it, you stop being stranded. You become supplied.